have here this evening Mr. Stuckey and Mr. and Mrs. Martin. I just mentioned that for the purposes of the tape. And do you recall the schools here when you first came?
Oh, do I recall that big barn? I do, certainly.
Where was the school then?
On Washington Avenue, or Washington Place. I don't recall just what they called it.
Washington Street, yes, or Washington Avenue.
Yes,
Well, it was known as the Washington School.
It didn't have a name until we built the junior high school, and then we called it the Washington
That's right.
Avenue School.
It had no school.
Well, Mr. Gibbs was here when you came then.
What's that?
Mr. Gibbs was the
Oh,
principal when you
yes,
came.
yes, he was
Yeah.
here.
He was here when I came too, you see. But
Yeah.
before him, there was a Mr. Reed, I know.
I remember Mr. Reed.
Yes, he lived on
very
Center
hard of
Street.
hearing there for a
He
while.
lived on Center Street,
Yes.
and he had a boy in school. Yes.
How many grades did they teach then when you first went to school?
There were
here?
eight
Yeah.
grades here.
And I guess for high school or junior high school, they went to other areas.
Oh, yes, indeed.
And we had no junior high schools in those days.
No, we did not.
We went from 8th grade to high school in Hackensack.
Yes.
And then when Dumont High School opened, some of the children went to Dumont High School. I remember the town was very small, and we knew everyone, and everyone knew us. And the school was the center of activity. The Board of Education would come over to school parties, parents would send refreshments, and it was just a little community place. You know, everyone knew everyone else.
You recall the difficulty we had in building the Steuben School?
Yes, yes.
That difficulty arose because of the agitation to, the lower part
The name, wasn't it?
of New Milford, which was then called River Edge Manor, and it was River Edge on the mail. We had a River Edge delivery service, postal service. And they thought we were trying to secede, and we were really trying to. We wanted to get away from this other end of the town. Nothing against them personally, and they did the best they could, but we thought they hadn't any push or any desire to go ahead or to improve the town. There was also quite a little agitation against the name Steuben.
Well, that was right at the wartime, right?
Yes, it was. Agitation against anything German. And this area was largely made up of German.
Yes.
And German people of German extraction.
They didn't recognize themselves as a township unity. There was the southern section of town, which was Newbridge, and there was the middle section, which was River Edge Manor, and there was Dumont section, which was Roslyn Park, and there was this section up here, which was Petersburg. And there was New Milford, too, down along the waterworks.
Where the waterworks are.
How does it happen that the minutes of Palisade Township meetings are in New Milford now instead of in Englewood or Ridgefield, who were part?
Well, they weren't part anymore those days, when Palisades Township eventually wound up with just what there is now of the borough of New Milford.
Well, that's right. Well, I was just thinking some of the meetings were held in Englewood, and I was
Well,
wondering.
yes, that was before, it was when they had a area that went all the way over to Alpine, originally. And little by little, they divorced themselves from Palisades Township and started their own community.
Well, as they formed these boroughs, when they got the right to form a borough, the borough could grab anything they wanted.
All the minutes of the township are in New Milford.
No,
Yeah, well, I mean,
of course, that was
how-
what was left of it, and the minutes stayed there.
We're trying very hard to find out the source of the name of New Milford. I was wondering whether...
New Milford was here many, many years ago, named as a section. Was never an incorporated town. My grandfather bought a farm in Oradell, corner of what is now Ridgewood Road and Kinnecamack, in 1855, and it was New Milford then.